The sudden explosion caught Lin completely off guard. He lost a few of his skellies right away and had to throw on 3 layers of skeletal armor just to survive. It wasn't pretty, and he looked like a mess. Still, he notes the self-destruct was no joke, and perhaps even a level 70 knight could have been killed by it. Anyway, once the monster disappeared into streams of golden lights, Lin took a moment to gather his thoughts. If the entire Thunder Burial Canyon was filled with enemies like that, then this journey was about to get way rougher than he expected. Before long, he reached a fork in the path. According to the location Antares had given him, he should head right. Furthermore, Lin remarks that this very place has 9 different paths, and taking the wrong one means getting hopelessly lost. So yeah, no room for error. As he moved ahead, flickers of lightning danced across the ground, on and off, until suddenly 2 massive orbs of light appeared in front of him. And there it was, 2 more Thunderlight Beast. However, this time, they were slightly higher level than the last one.
He figures it's probably because he's now deeper inside. Even more concerning, there's 1 extra monster this time. That makes 2 instead of 1. So Lin starts wondering, could the number of beasts be tied to how many forks he's passed? If so, what's waiting for him at the end of all this? Maybe 9 of these little kitties? For now, though, no point stressing about that.
He's got a more immediate problem to deal with, so he summons his trusty skellies and sends them in. Even though he came prepared, the self-destruction from the 2 monsters still blasted a bunch of skeletons into pieces. Our boy was genuinely shocked, noting just 1 extra beast and the explosion's power had been stacking up dramatically. Things weren't really going his way, and if his theory's right, then his skellies might gonna taking even more of a hit the deeper he goes. Soon, he hits the next fork. Yep, more lightning orbs, and this time he was facing up against 3 Thunderlight Beasts. His theory, unfortunately, checks out. Taking them down isn't the hard part, but these self-destructs are really becoming a pain in the ass. The explosions are getting stronger each time, and now there's no avoiding the blast. The damage keeps stacking, and Lin realizes that if he didn't have skeletal armor, damage transfer, and lifelink, he'd probably be dead a dozen times over by now. Covered in dust and with half his clothes shredded, he stops to ask himself, can anyone actually make it to the heart of Thunder Burial Canyon alive? Nonetheless, he pushed forward and reached the next fork, and he noted there was no turning back now. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the Dark Sky Demon Lord's castle, now completely engulfed by a terrifying toxic mist. The Demon Lord was using every ounce of his strength just to stop the poison from eating away at his body. As for the rest of the castle, he really can't do much about it. With no other choice, he turned to the Plague Demon Lord for help. Now, this guy wasn't exactly easy on the eyes, definitely not someone you'd want to look at during dinner. He clicked his tongue in surprise, saying, "Who would have thought the mighty Dark Sky would ever come crawling to him?" Dark Sky, clearly irritated, snapped at him to cut the nonsense. The Ugly One rolled his eyes, pulled out a green gemstone, and figured it was worth testing. Still, he couldn't help but wonder, what kind of poison was this, strong enough to put even Dark Sky in such a state? As the gemstone glowed, the nearby mist began swirling toward it, slowly getting absorbed. But then something changed. The Plague Lord's eyes widened and noted something terrifying was happening, and whatever it wasn't good. A bad feeling hit him hard, and without hesitation, he tossed the gem away. But it was already too late. A streak of poison shot up his arm. Shocked, he stared in disbelief, then immediately chopped the whole arm off. His breathing turned heavy as his arm began regenerating. Looking horrified, he muttered that this poison was beyond terrifying, even worse than his own. Dark Sky couldn't wait any longer and asked sharply if the Plague Lord had seen anything unusual. The Ugly One suddenly grinned, saying he had. Apparently, deep inside that poison, he sensed a faint trace of rule energy. He adds that if he could figure it out, then his own power might evolve even further. That stunned Darksky completely. Poison infused with rule-level energy was beyond absurd, and he just couldn't wrap his head around how a human at level 50 could be capable of wielding power on that scale. The Plague Lord, still intrigued, added that there's only a tiny bit of rule energy, but definitely real. Then he leaned in and asked when Darksky planned to drag Lin into the abyss, adding that he was sure Lin must be carrying something special. Darksky gave a vague promise to make it happen, but secretly, he thought if he ever got the chance, he'd rather kill the guy outright. Meanwhile, back at the Succubus Palace, Mina had just finished her report. The Succubus Queen asked again, as if not convinced enough, that Lin really managed to destroy Darksky's avatar. Mina nodded seriously, saying yes. She began pacing back and forth, thinking first of the Flame Demon Lord, and now it was Darksky, which meant Lin had already